investigating or fact-finding on the leak tape. Abu Green Abu had confirmed and settled the dust on as to whether it's authentic or not. Let's go to Parliament and listen briefly.
There is also a statement here, having been captured as a statement from the witness. Yes, he is aware. I told him, General Secretary, if you don't take care, you take the party to opposition and you'll be the worst General Secretary. The next elections, you will lose because you came when we are in power and you couldn't help us the way we want. I gave him all the. Yes. Did you make the statement?
Mr. Chairman, for all due respect, I wouldn't want to answer this question. Thank you.
You see, Commissioner, this particular statement is on the tape. This part, what he was trying to, bring your attention to is your voice recording. Are you distancing yourself from your own voice? That's what it means, So please, did you say this or not?
Mr. Chairman, I want him to repeat the question.
I want him to repeat the question. I should repeat the question. You stated that, I'm quoting exactly what you said, verbatim quotation. Yes, he's aware. I told him, General Secretary, if you don't take care, you will take the party to opposition and you will be the worst General Secretary. The next elections, you will lose because you came when we are in power and you couldn't help us the way we want. I gave him all the and I asked whether you made the statement.
Mr. Chairman, yes, I did.
And so when you said you came when we were in power, what exactly were you referring to?
3FM Sunrise. 3FM Sunrise.
Mr. Chairman, I was referring to the General Secretary's party.
That's the MPP, is that correct?
That is so.
And then when you said we, you meant that you were part of the MPP, is that correct?
I am a sympathizer of the MPP.
So you are not a member, you are a sympathizer. Is that what you're saying to this committee?
Yes, Mr. Chairman, I've said it already.
Okay. We want the record to capture that today you have indicated to us that you are not a member of the MPP, but a sympathizer. I want that to reflect on our records.
Like a transformer, or they will send them like an informer. That's what here, what one of our formats. But Joe, in the Kuma, you are the same Kunko, and I wash it and it's
3FM Sunrise. 3FM Sunrise.
One day you hot, next day you're not. What's your opinion? I'm never getting caught. I'm both on the tracks, thinking the airwave. Alright.
27 minutes after 8, 3FM 92.7. Today's Friday. We'll have Community Connection. And we're asking the question, are we able to feed ourselves as a people? But Duke and so Poco is joining us in the studio right now. Was a man in Parliament. Duke, how you doing? Good morning.
Morning, I'm all right. Beginning of a new month. We're hopeful. Yeah.
You're going back to Parliament today?
Yes.
What happened yesterday? I saw you on TV. I saw you sitting down and busy typing and working on the laptop and everything. But what happened? I mean, we watched from here, but you were in the soup.
Right. So, I mean, this committee began its work, let me say, properly so-called on Monday with the witness statement or the testimony of Chief Daniel Bugri-Nabu, former MPP regional chairman. Now, he set the tone for all what happened yesterday by indicating to the committee that indeed the voices on the tape were authentic. He had tasked his assigns to record it. In his own voice, he had gone to the Accra Mall to procure a machine to do the recording. That's what he told the committee on Monday.
I see.
So he actually confirmed that he had done that. And so yesterday, and he mentioned that these 3 police officers were the ones that were engaged in the plot with him, right? Yeah. So he came there, indicated that he was just a person that these police officers had come to him to sort of put across their message to be sent to the president. So he was just more or less like a conveyor belt. Right, so he took himself out of the plot in a way. So yesterday we had all the 3 police officers. We had, order of seniority. We had COP George Alexander Mensah. Right. Now he used to be director in charge of technical. Now he's on retirement. Right. He's on leave prior to retirement. Yes, his retirement is in 15 days' time. So on 16th September, he will cease to be an active member of the police service, if I put it that way. So he was there. Then there was Superintendent Emmanuel Jebi, who is at the CID headquarters, is in charge of cybercrime and child protection. And then the third person is Superintendent George Linsanda Asari. So these are the 3 persons who were at the committee yesterday. Right. They started with Superintendent Jebi. Now, Superintendent Jebi told them that he doesn't know Bugri-Nabu. He has never met Bugri-Nabu. He has never had any phone conversation with him whatsoever. Now, this is a gentleman that Bugri-Nabu told the committee that because Superintendent Asari said on the day that he was supposed to go and meet the president, he would not be available. He had assigned superintendent, or he had, delegated that responsibility to JB. Okay. For the 2 of them to meet at Afrikiko, or Africhico, if you like. That's how Bugri-Nabu put it. Yes. We know all of it. We know its proximity to the presidency. So that's where they were supposed to meet. Then go and meet the president and tell him everything that's supposed to have. He should have. He would have been told, right? So he said he didn't do anything. So after being, interrogated for a number of minutes, he was let go. Now they came to COP George Alexander Mensah, right? Now some people say this is the real showdown. So he was there, sat in his chair, but even before the interrogation could begin, his lawyers raised a number of preliminary legal arguments. First, the argument they made was the fact that they had not been given enough time to prepare, because they were just given the invitation on Wednesday, and the invitation was not even specific. It said senior police officers. Which senior police officer are you referring to? That's one. 2, they didn't have the benefit of the terms of reference to build that into their responses and all of that, right? So they came there, made these arguments. The chairman overruled it and said, well, and they also said that they had not listened to the audio. They didn't know which audio, because there are a number of audios circulating. They had not even seen a transcript of it, right? Chairman said, well, all these consents are valid, but they're also going to listen to it for the first time. They don't have a transcript. They don't know what is going on. They acknowledge that, but that cannot stop the work of the committee. They should go ahead. They raised another point. This time around, falling on the rules of natural justice, one of the principal legs. No, nemo judas in causa sua.
All right, you can't be a judge in your own cause.
Yes, right? Nemo judas in causa sua. So that the fact that 2 of the members of the committee had been judges in their own cause, by making prejudicial comments, and because of that, they were not fit and proper. They didn't meet the fit and proper test to be on the committee. Now, because of that, they should recuse themselves. This was the forceful application that was made by Kukusu Ajima Council for George Alexander Mensah. They indeed, in fact, they gave details, produced publications. First from Ghana Web, where Superintendent Tobu is alleged to have said that all the police officers engaged in that plot were rot in hellfire. And they read the quotes from Ghana Web. Then they went to James Agaga, who is alleged to have stated that those engaged in the plot had committed a treasonable offense and they must be dealt with as such. Treason is in the same league as committing a coup, plotting a coup, and all those things. So that's what he said. But the two of them responded. Agaga said that yes, he made these comments, but those comments were made on the floor of Parliament and in context, right? And even if you look at it, when a member is on the floor of Parliament, he has verbal immunity. He can say a lot of. He has privilege. He can say a lot. Yeah, and even apart from that, even these comments are comments which were made in. They were conditional comments. They were qualified. He said, if it is proven to be true that the gentleman on this tape plotted in this manner, then it is liable. It is tantamount to treason, right? Or it's a treasonable offense. And he didn't see anything wrong with that. And the exercise to validate whatever they had done or qualify is what is going on. And so he doesn't see why he's barred from this. Superintendent Tobu said he had never granted any such interview. He doesn't know how Ghana Web got those codes. He has never been involved in any such conversation. So based on that, the vice chairman also overruled the second objection. And they said that, well, they still insist. So they will hand in tapes in that regard. So after all these preliminary issues were cleared, then the action proper began or started, right? And at the very beginning, the outset, COP George Mensah indicated to the committee that parts of it are his voice on the audio tape, right. But there are parts of it that are doctored.
Okay. He mentioned that.
There are parts of it that are
that have been tampered with or edited.
That have been edited. He kept on saying that all through the process. Now, so he went on with his testimony, indicated that he said he doesn't remember when he met him, but the office he said yes was in in Osu, and that he had met Bugri Nabu on about 4 occasions. He did indicate that he had been lobbying to be IGP since 2017.
That's right.
Yes,
when his CV was taken from him.
He said Bugri Nabu sent somebody to come to him for his CV.
Yes.
So that they will go and lobby the president to
been lobbying for it since
2017. And that he doesn't see he's qualified. He's eminently qualified to be the IGP, and he doesn't see anything wrong with lobbying to be the IGP. He also did indicate that he will say it anywhere he's given the opportunity, that this IGP, Dr. George Ekufu Dampare, is not managing the police service well. He will say it anywhere. He doesn't regret it. He will put it on record everywhere he gets the opportunity to say that the man is not managing the police institution well. And if the members like, in his words, they should conduct their own investigations. They should speak to police officers underground, and they will find out the level of resentment and the level of uneasiness in the police service under the leadership of Dr. George Ekufu Dampare.
There was a question on social media and within mainstream media about his demeanor and, his approach to answering the questions and his posture and everything else. And that people questioned, they put some arrogance in there and say, well, he's confident, so people were turning between the two, characteristics, if you will. On the ground, where you were in the committee room, what was the sentiments there?
The sentiments were that this is a man who came prepared, he didn't come to, if you like, pussyfoot or, go around the issues. If he has an answer, he will answer. If he doesn't have it, he will say no. If he wants to plead the fifth, he pleads the fifth. Says that this one, I don't want to answer. I don't want to answer. So that's how it was. But everyone who knows COP George Alexander Mensah knows that confidence is one of the things that oozes from him naturally. For those who remember the Ayawaso was Wogun incident, that he was the regional commander.
Was the DCOP then?
Yes, at the time. Yes, so this is normal COP George Alexander Mensah. Very, he says it just that probably yesterday because of the circumstances. But even with that, he started on a low note. Started building up till he got to the crescendo, and he answered the questions in the way which he best thought he would. But from all indications, one would have thought, or one could glean from the proceedings, that his lawyers would have preferred a lot more time to get him prepared. That's why they came in with all these technicalities and all these
so that they'll be given
some time to go. But this committee has indicated that they want to finish their work in two weeks, present the report to the speaker.
They also demanded to get some documents which the chairman granted, right?
Yes,
the chairman said they were going to get the transcript.
So they will get a transcript. They will get the terms of
video
reference
or audio
they should present it.
Right.
So they were giving all of that yesterday.
Okay.
I was witness to that. After the committee ended, they told council and the people to wait and take those documents, and they were going to give them a transcript of Bugri Nabu's testimony as well. That was also
what are we to expect today?
Today he will continue with his testimony. I don't know which, because as far as I can remember clearly, all the members had the opportunity to question him.
Yesterday, to the point where I watched, I saw Superintendent Tobu, firing some questions at him. Did he complete his?
He did. All the members had opportunities to ask. So I don't know which part of the tape they would want to dwell their attention on. But Atacha did indicate that today's session for COP George Alexander Mensah will be quite short so that they can deal with Superintendent Asari. Yeah, so that's what we are to expect.
There was also a question about state security and him not being able to divulge certain information in the public domain.
Right. So there were questions,
and all of that.
There were questions that he was questioned in a number of respects, and he did indicate clearly that he wasn't comfortable with the fact that this was being held in public. The media was present, cameras were around, and that there are certain answers that he would give. For instance, there's a certain report that he alluded to that a report had been commissioned to be done by somebody at the presidency regarding the strengths and the weaknesses of the top hierarchy of the police officers. A copy of which he had seen. He had a report. Some members wanted him to divulge the contents of that report. He did indicate that it's a matter that borders on national security and he wasn't going to speak to it. They also asked him a question about how police influence elections and the rest. He said he had an answer to that, but there's no way he was going to put out that information in the public domain. So later on, after the sitting, we did ask Atacha Samuel, the chairman of the committee, what he made of this request in a way from COP George Alexander Mensah in relation to an in-camera hearing. And he said that, if time permits or if the committee finds it expedient, they will make provision for that.
Interesting. Duke, I thank you very much indeed for doing a great job as always. And we wish you all the best for today. Hey. Okay. So we have the rap now. Helen, William, we have the rap.
Yeah, so as I haven't met him before. I didn't know him until yesterday, but I just told you that I thought that was his character. He's an animated individual, so that's confirmed. But you see, as I said earlier, if you are dealing with someone like Bugri Nabu, because Bugri Nabu, I know him personally.
Okay.
I have traveled with him as a journalist. He was with the NDC, are you aware?
Yes.
He was with the NDC from 96 to 2000. Then he resigned for personal reasons and joined the MPP. So he's a very shrewd politician.
In fact,
so if you are dealing with him,
between those periods, he came back again to the NDC.
So if you are dealing with Bugri Nabu, you don't just walk into Bugri Nabu's office and start talking. No, I'm telling you,
because the man can cross carpet at any point.
He's a very shrewd individual. So I'm surprised that the COP did not get a better rundown of him to know how to deal with him. Because when Bugri Nabu went to the committee and the way he was speaking, and he's that type of person, he would just say it as it is. He said he knows the president. The president also knows him. He wanted evidence to back what he was going to tell the president. And he even went to buy a tape. He didn't even use a phone and all that kind of thing. But the way...
Prepared for the CSI.
Yes, so
CSI also.
I'm happy that the committee decided that they'll do some, be part of the hearing in camera. So that at least, because state security...
Right.
We cannot be throwing some of those things out.
But a lot of it is already out there, is it not?
Yeah, but the sensitive ones. So we are just hoping that when we get there ourselves as press people, we also know how to manage the information the way it should. At the end of the day, it's a committee, it's not a court. I don't know what the objective of the speaker is.
It's a fact-finding committee.
So then they will advise how to deal with the police in terms of training, because everybody has a political color.
Right.
But you know how to deal with it when you're a professional. So At the end of the day, he thought he was having a private conversation. He didn't know it was going to come out. It has come out. We are discussing it because it has some national security implications. It has some connection with our election, which is also part of our democratic dispensation. And people are talking about treason. I haven't gotten there yet because the facts are still coming up. So let's just hope that as professionals, we also know how to, interact with people in private and in public. It's very important as we go forward. Yeah.
Anyway, let's listen to Bugri Nabu.
My mama.
Your man. It was at Kokuri Junction. Earlier he had denied the video, the audio in the initial stages. When Paka spoke with him, he said, no. But listen to him.
See yourself connected with the tape you just heard?
My voice is there.
Very good. Very good. Okay. Would you be good enough to tell us the rest of the individuals that you were engaged in that conversation with?
Well, one Commander Asari.
Okay, please go slowly, yes.
Police commander.
Yes.
But I don't know which district or which region or which section he command.
Okay.
But he introduced himself to me when he came to my office.
Okay.
That he was a police commander based at the police headquarters. And so I asked him, where does he know me? And he told me that during the time of political campaign, 2014, 2015, 2016, I used to come to war with the president, the vice president, and the Alaji Short. And I know that yes, if he says so, it's just true.
Okay. Who is the other individual apart from Commissioner Sari that was on tape?
Apart from Commander Asari, there was one man also later joined called Commander COP Mensan.
Okay.
That he's on leave now prior to his retirement. Yeah, he was also part of it.
Yes. So you were only three?
Then later, when the meeting were going on, I didn't see the person, it was on phone. One JP, who is also a police superintendent at the police headquarters. But I haven't seen him. He talked to me on phone, and I listened to him on phone.
Okay. So, where is the location of your office where this the taping took place?
My office at Osu.
Osu.
And just direct opposite Osu police station.
So you want to tell this committee that all that was said on the tape is valid?
Oh, it's valid.
Okay. So members of the committee, he has authenticated the tape, that is identified the individuals who were speaking on the tape. And now you can commence the interrogation.
Now, Helen, now there's no ambiguity about the reports. Quickly, and then we can do some calls.
I'm also just thinking about the other themes with this assertion by COP Alex Mensah that the IGP doesn't know what he's doing, he's not able to, he's not performing his functions correctly. What happens after that? After such a statement has been made, does the IGP respond to something like this? Is it in anybody's best interest for the IGP to also now wade into it, or is it best that he?
If I were to advise the IGP, I would ask him to wait, let the committee finish with its reports, let them make their recommendations, because it is not a trial, let them finish their recommendations, and let that find presence in any police reforms, from the Defense and Security Committee in Parliament and the Police Council, Police Management Board. They can sit and look at it. It doesn't lie in the mouth of the IGP alone to come and say, well, forget about it. Then it will be a two-horse, kind of punching tokwa, if you will, because the man is going out. He literally has nothing to lose. Yeah, you get the point.
Yeah.
He has nothing to learn. The way he was speaking, it doesn't look like he was bothered at all. He was happy to say he is not even a policeman at that time anymore because he's in his house. But we know the rules that if you are on leave prior to retirement, you are still in there so long as you have not.
In fact, he was questioned about not wearing a uniform.
Yes, you have not surrendered your accoutrement and everything else. You are still there. I mean, until the last day, the last minute, the last hour, the last second, you are still serving. So leave preceding your pension doesn't mean you're on pension. You understand? It's just natural that you take, backbench. You can then now do your handing over and all those things. You have time, so you are not giving any heavy duties. You get to hand over, do your inventory, everything else. Then you hand over properly, and then you are discharged honorably. So it doesn't lie in the mouth of the IGP to come and respond to it individually. If not. Because the IGP doesn't work in a vacuum.
That's right.
There's a police management board, of which he himself was a member of it. So it's just like, maybe if I would put it this way, it's akin to Dr. Baumia Lanchemantin and all those people who were part of the economic management team, not giving each other jabs that you led us, you did this, you did this. You were all part of the mess. You understand? Anyway, today's Friday. Let's dash you some money and then we'll pick a few calls. Star 439 hash. Choose option 1, which is 3FM 92.7. And then you enter your Momo pin. It's 5 cities only. You get to win money. Star 439 hash. If you win money, this evening will be sweet for you at the Gold Coast restaurant where we're meeting to have the 3FM Corporate Connect.